Some viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome to the discussion for Dinosaur Island, Rawr and Right. Boy, do I absolutely hate that name. Which is pretty much the biggest reason why I didn't back it.
It's Rawr and Right.
It's Rawr.
Rawr and Right was actually another game was called Rawr and Right.
Oh,
so
was
they had
it?
to change it to Rawr and Right.
That's awful. Yeah, that name was one of the reasons I stayed away from it. And I also stayed away from it because I don't typically go for rolling rights or flipping rights or creaming rights or whatever you want to fucking do and write on shit. But I kind of missed out. This one's actually really good.
This is
this is exquisite.
This is a really I enjoyed this more than Dinosaur World, to be completely honest.
Really?
I did, because
Wow.
I like rolling rights,
Mm-hmm.
unless it's Imperial Settlers.
Let's not talk about
The
that
most
one.
basic of basic rolling rights.
I really enjoyed this. It was
Yeah.
it was a good mixture in between both Dinosaur Island, Dinosaur World
Mm-hmm.
components.
With actual some depth
I
to what you're doing.
Lots of different choices for strategy.
Yep.
The whole having to take the threat to stack. This is like my favorite roll and write as of now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever I was reading the rule book, I was like, this might be really good, just because there was so much depth to it. The fact that you still build your park, your buildings still do stuff, they still generate the excitement. Everything is here. So once again, like with Dinosaur World, and if you're familiar with them, you're gonna go into this and be like, oh, okay, but it plays so well as a roll and write. There are a few complaints that I have, but they're not major, and we'll talk about them after Amy says if she liked it or not.
So, I like it. I still prefer actual board games over roll and rights, but I enjoy roll and rights because of the time that it takes.
Actual board
Yes,
games.
actual board games. But for roll and write, I do really enjoy it. I like roll and writes, kind of like my filler games. So I like to take these when people are playing long drawn games and we only have like a few people, or we want to get through something.
Yeah.
And that's when I like to play these types of games. And I think this would fit well for that. It's a little bit longer than some of the other
about an
roll and
hour.
Yeah. It's a little bit longer than some of the other roll and writes. However, I really do like the components except the pencils.
You don't like the pencils?
Don't
I
like
the
the pencils.
I
No,
like
it's just because they're dinky, and I don't like dinky pencils.
We've played this game twice now in
Yeah.
a row. Second time we played through much faster, and I think you could easily play this 3 or 4 players in under an hour.
What did they say for the
That's on.
30 to 45 minutes?
Yeah.
You can
I
probably
agree with
get
that.
there.
I agree with that.
So like I said, for those types of purposes, I love these types of games. And I like the components and the way the dice work here better than I liked it in Dinosaur World. Because it's more familiar to the Dinosaur Island way that I liked how those dice worked.
Yeah, which is true. This definitely has... They took the best part of Dinosaur World, which was the touring through your park, put it in here, and then they kept everything else from Dinosaur Island.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, knocked it out of the park.
And pretty much replicated. Like, this wasn't... Like, Dinosaur Island was like, oh, you're kind of dumb, you can't really get Dinosaur Island. Okay, we'll try this 2-player one for you and your dumbass significant other. I really didn't like Dinosaur Island. It felt like it was pandering. Oh, people are bitching because they can't play Dinosaur Island at 2. Alright, here's a fucking half-ass game. However, so this is exactly what that should have been, which is just a condensed version of Dinosaur Island. In fact, I feel like there might actually be more thought to go into this because of how you have to lay out your map.
Lots of choices, lots of strategy.
Right. We were mentioning like Railroad Inc. is kind of how that felt.
You want to connect the exits, and of course, there are objective cards in Railroad Inc.
Yes.
that you're trying to cross off, and depending on which Railroad Inc. you get, and if you're using
I think I
expansion,
just have the blue one.
right, and then they have the expansion packs, like I have the Lovecraftian one and stuff like that.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Well, we'll have to play it. But this one, these specialists are going to change every time. These are going to change every time.
There's a significant amount of buildings and specialists in here as well.
That is a considerable amount.
These are all the specialists.
That's
Wow.
a lot.
And then these are all, this is true solo, and these are your buildings.
But you said there's even a solo mode, so
There's a solo
this
mode.
gives you a lot of replayability.
Big time.
This is what was missing from Dinosaur World, was the variety. to be like, okay, we're kind of gonna see these tiles every now and again. Like, yeah, there's no variety. There's no variety in like the dinosaurs you're building here. But what's also kind of cool is I actively, whenever we played the second time, I was like, how well can you do with only herbivores? Like, because I tried to go against, like, I wanted no threat. And I wanted no deaths. Because I wanted to see, because most of the time, like, you kind of have to.
Yeah.
And,
high risk, high reward.
And that is kind of, and this is a kind of a slight negative in all of them, is they have this threat mechanic, but it never really fucking matters. Like, you're always able to get security. Like, unless you are just absolutely intentionally neglecting security. You had like
Unless
8. You had
someone
8,
drops a 3-pip
but it
threat.
didn't matter. It didn't matter. You had 8 threat, and it was just like, oh, okay, all right, got some excitement. I guess we just have security now. You know, so that's what this one was. World's the exact same way. It's just kind of a little too easy to get security.
I struggled this time around. The last game we played, I did not have a single problem getting security. This game I did. And I think part of it's also the way, the randomization of the dice. Mm-hmm. And then in which turn order you get to go. Because like the last time I said, I didn't have a single problem getting security.
Yeah.
This time I did.
Yep. So let's talk about that, because that's absolutely probably the biggest negative that I can think of, is the turn order is extremely important, as well as randomization of dice.
I mean, it's the luck of the dice. The
Right.
dice that you draw out of the bag, because there are extra dice.
Yeah, there's 10 total, and there's always 10.
Right.
You draw a certain number based off number of players.
So
And
basically,
there are
2.
people, though, who hate luck-based games.
Right.
Who will hate this.
Oh,
because
absolutely.
of it.
And those people probably don't like rolling rights. Because of that exact, like, on tour, I think is a garbage rolling right. I really, one, because it's like, oh, man, 2 numbers, where am I going to put them? I guess I'll put them here, and that's the game. So, I think at the end of the day, the dice, it all kind of comes out in the wash. It all evens itself out. Because I think everyone gets to go, at least in a 3-player game, well, obviously this flips with 4. Everyone gets to go twice.
first, yeah.
Yes, yeah. And then if you're in the middle, you kind of get second pickings, and if you're last, you at least get to pick. It does the snake draft, which, thank God. But I think the drafting of dice is not really that big of a deal, where the randomization and where you get hurt the most is stacking. And there is a variant for stacking.
To block instead, right?
Yes. Players can choose to use dice blocking. You may only place on an occupied action if your die has more threat than the occupied die. So if you place a 3 down, no one's getting it. And you can also specialist in building draft is another variant.
But that would be an interesting variant, because if I know that Amy has to go and get security, I'll put a 3-pip there to stop her so that she does take the negative points. So I can see a lot of strategy in that too.
Right.
That's a lot more.
It's more hate. Yeah, it's more hate kind of. I mean, you don't draft these positions, but it's more like, well, I don't need security, but fuck you, and I'm gonna. And I really, it's like, well, you didn't gain anything, so you're.
Well, and if it was a game like that, if we had played with that type of variant, I would not have enjoyed this that much.
Yeah.
I at least like that I'm getting something, even though I have to take a negative hit. If we had played like the fuck you game, I would have like walked upstairs halfway through.
Right, played 3 Dragon Annie up there. This is better than that game down there.
Which is also a game I dislike, but that's because I'm not a big gotcha game person. So when it comes to like playing that type of game and with those types of people, and if that was the version of this I'd gotten in, I would have maybe made it a round and a half and upstairs.
And that's the thing is like, so with that type of variant, because your death toll and your excitement can go above, excitement can go above 60, gets you a bunch of extra points. That has to be the only thing you're going for, or the right build. Like the PR guy, like if you just have a shit ton of paddocks, then he's going to probably generate you 5. But at most, he's only going to generate you like 15 if you have 5 paddocks out, which is a lot to have, because you can have a total of 9. So unless you built every type of dinosaur and put them out, he's going to get you 9, which then gets you a total of 18, but you're not going to fucking buy him immediately.
So what I think, the game's new.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it, and I think replayability I'll enjoy it a lot more. But when I'm looking at my maps here, it's kind of like, it's just like we talked about cartographers. It's like the big thing with the expansion is maps.
Yeah.
When they'll release a couple of different maps with a different park, different exits, because right now you're pretty much guaranteed you're going for your high value exits.
Yeah.
And like both of mine, I went kind of around like that on both games. I did that, so I could see that having both times. And our two games, I mean, you won the first game by 4, and then we tied the second game, and I won with the tiebreaker. So it was close.
Yeah, they're really close, and I agree. That was kind of another slight negative, was the building of your park is not as big a deal, and I can't expect it to be in a roll and write. It's still some slight puzzle. It's not just a gimme, place a tile somewhere. It doesn't matter. It probably has the same kind of configuration as Dinosaur World does. Like, kind of where you place your tiles actually matters because you have to move through them. Same concept here. But yes, in terms of the exits, yeah, you're gonna go for 7, 8, and 10. I didn't in this one. I went for the 3 because I was like, oh, okay, let's just see what happens if you go for that one first.
But of course, the death toll and the disasters can really,
that is,
if I plan a single route and I have to destroy 3 roads or I have to destroy a paddock, I'm screwed.
Right.
So you definitely have to plan for some contingency.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, is because that part is kind of like a gimme, really. Like it's I feel like it's kind of easier to go for those higher numbers. I wish that it wasn't so easy to get security. Like, disasters are a big deal, but you can kind of mitigate them by them being like, oh, I'm just going to build 3 roads and then destroy them because who cares?
Did you randomize these, or were these the suggested setup?
No, I randomized them.
Okay, so not having the security hub would have been a big change.
That is also true, yeah.
That would have been a huge change.
And like I said, even with the security hub, I still struggled this game versus last game. I didn't. So it was just the luck of the draw. You could have been struggling too had you done other things.
Had
Right.
you sucked.
Yeah, because that is probably my biggest favorite change, is the fact that disasters exist. Because Dinosaur World is just kind of...
Could you imagine losing a tile in
right?
Dinosaur World?
Oh, yeah. Oh, but this is gone. Yeah. But, I mean, that makes sense.
Pay attention, Panosaurus.
Well, it's like... They're still dinosaurs. Like, if a bear escapes in a zoo, it's not just like, whatever. Like, it's like... Or if a kid falls in a gorilla fucking enclosure. It's a big deal. And none of the games, Island, World, and this one, really... Threat doesn't fucking matter. I can't remember how it was tracked in Island. It's been like a hot minute.
I
think it was just...
They ate your patrons.
Yeah.
That's right. So you just didn't get money.
Yeah.
Or victory points.
Or victory points.
Oh, yeah.
Because they ate your patrons.
Oh, that's right. And then World had the tokens, which I actually I like the token system. I thought that was very simple. And then here, it was probably the most complex with those disasters.
I like it.
I do
that
too.
part.
Yeah.
That to me is that.
Yeah.
Maybe you could apply it to the other game. I mean, how serious would it be if, like, okay, we just had a big thing and you lose that tile?
Right.
I mean, that would be insane. Or you can't go there for so much time because there's a cleanup crew.
You're right. Get me out of here. Yeah. My main objective was to see, because these buildings are fantastic because they actually have endgame victory points, which I was like, oh, let's see.
But they are expensive.
They're really pricey. That's where all my money went. I didn't hire most specialists. I got the PR guy and I got the security chief, and then I built these 2. And the camp compy, like, I just kept getting fucking, like, DNA just to have it. So I like the variety. I love endgame scoring. The building the park takes that from Dinosaur World, which is great, and then everything else is just, it's solid. And yeah, if you can knock it down from an hour to 45 minutes, hell, if you can get a game played in 30 minutes, then, I mean, it's exceptional. And yeah, like you said, if this wasn't in the game, then it's like, all right, a lot more deaths.
2 players, you could play it in 30, no problem.
Absolutely. Once again, nothing changes for number of players.
They're playing Wingspan in 30 minutes,
right,
with 2 players, so we could knock this out.
That's also true.
I think there's a little bit of analysis paralysis because there are so many things you can do, and you're like, oh, what do I want to do? Do I want to get the dinosaurs and get points? You know, it's much easier to make dinosaurs in this game than it is in the other game.
That is true.
Well, and that's part of it. I think that getting DNA seems to be the easiest way to do it, but then building the dinosaur is the tough part.
Yeah.
So.
No, I think it's easy because you can make 4 of them just by committing one guy.
But if you can't get to that easily because you need to make
if someone jacks it with
I'm
going to put a die there and it's 3 threat for you to make 4 dinosaurs, and it's like, great. And I can definitely see, that never happened to me. There was never a time where I was like, oh, fuck me, I'm going last. Okay, I guess I'll just not do anything.
Well, that's why I didn't make dinosaurs for a couple turns, because I just couldn't afford to.
Because not only are you taking threat from going to that spot, you're taking threat from building dinosaurs.
Unless you're making herbivores like some idiot.
I mean, yeah, it compensates for the excitement, and as excitement goes up, you start just only getting security and money, but they're spaced out a little bit more.
I mean, to me, the best bang for your buck is your small carnivores. Because you're getting 2 excitement, 3 victory points, and only 1 threat. I mean, you can make twice as many as your large carnivores.
Yeah,
and I mean, but they do. You know, the large carnivores give you an extra huge amount of space on your board that it takes up. True. And if you need to span the distance, then that's great. But I've got 3 large carnivore pens on here.
Right. Yeah, and on this one, I only had 1. I had one big, 1 small, and then 2.
I only had 1 on the last game that we just played.
Yeah.
So.
Which is this? I mean, you can make those same arguments exactly for Dinosaur World and Island. If you're not making the big dinosaurs, you're not getting a lot of points. If you're not building dinosaurs, you're not going to do well because it's the game about the dinosaur theme park, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Like that's not really a complaint. The one thing that is kind of it goes back to luck. One of the more frustrating things is the fact that in your merch shop, last game when you guys kept rolling, you just kept getting free attractions and free shit. I didn't get any of that. My 2 merchants just kept giving me DNA. So as I kept getting more DNA, I'm like, all right, I guess I'm going to go for the camp compy because that's all I can try and get points for.
It made up for the algae rolls yesterday that I got 2. So.
Yeah. But other than that, yeah, it's been extremely close. This is fantastic. Like, I really like it. So I'm going to have to try and snag me a copy.
You'll find a copy online.
Probably.
I don't think there's any exclusives.
No, I'll probably go retail. So. I don't see them making expansions for it. I'm surprised Cartographers even has one.
I mean, Welcome 2 has a million.
Yeah, Welcome 2 has a bunch.
Yeah, that's true, but they're all the same game.
It's true, except the objectives, with the theme objectives. And, and I mean,
they easily could. They could very much add just here's a pad. Now here's water dinosaurs added. That would be the biggest thing. Like, there's a shit ton of objective cards and a shit ton of specialists. Really, all they need, they can keep everything else except have different dinosaurs.
So, what I like about this roll and write that you don't see too much in other ones. I mean, you do barely in Cartographers. You don't in Welcome to. You don't in On Tour.
Yeah.
It's player interaction.
Oh.
My moves will affect you.
Right.
That doesn't happen in the other ones.
Yeah,
I mean, the
true.
monster placement in Cartographers,
yes.
But that's barely anything.
It, yeah.
Everything else is...
And sometimes they might not even come up.
Right. So everything else, is the same, but, like... your choices, and that's what I really like about this one is that, and I also don't like it a lot because when somebody puts a high threat level pip on a fucking security.
But it doesn't block you unless you play that variant. You could sit there and be like, fuck it, alright, I really need to,
Yeah, but I mean, like, if I gotta take 2 threat to get 2 security, why even bother doing it?
Right.
So... Unless it's to get the money, which I could maybe buy my security chief with, which would give me...
Give you your 2 and then 1, or give you your money to build your security hub if it's out. So, yeah, I love drafting. It's one of my favorite game mechanisms. I love snake drafting as well. It's how I almost won a Smash Up tournament, because I got Tricksters and Wizards. And whenever I went to play, they were like, oh, what'd you get? And I told them, they're like, you dick. And I'm just like, no one picked them. But it's the most fair of drafting. So there's that player interaction. There's no player interaction in terms of really anything else. but that's also not in the other games. World and Island really have no interaction. Except
other
I'm
than
taking this
drafting
die. I'm taking this card.
Die or
Drafting
dinosaurs
tiles.
or the specialists. I mean,
Right.
But that's the other thing. It's like, everything has a cost in Island, and you get, that's the order, and you know that next time. But this is different. I like it. It's only three. It's 6 rounds. It's three. It's 3 seasons, but it's literally 6 rounds of drafting
of 2
and
actions.
placement.
You get 12 actions the entire game.
So,
And the other thing I will say is most of the game is simultaneous. Like, the biggest action that takes the longest is, of course, making dinosaurs. You have to fucking draw it out, and then you have to math it and try and remember, oh shit, did I mark these out?
right.
I think I did. But while the people are doing that, it's just like, okay, well, I'm going to go, and I'm going to do this. Amy, it's your turn. Okay, Steve, it's back to you. And then once you get to your, run park phase, that's all simultaneous. Final scoring's all you can just do it yourself. Yeah, it's extremely clean. I'm very much impressed. Pandasaurus is a company that only hits the nail on the head with the dinosaur games. I hate all their other games, except The Mind. The Mind is fun. But their Dead Man's Cabal, Godspeed, both those games are ass. But their logo is a literal dinosaur, and it's called Pandasaurus, so I'd hope they'd get their dinosaur games right.
And we've played 2 of them in 2 days, and I enjoyed it. But this one, I could see this getting to the table much more often because it's going to play faster.
True.
It's going to be easier to teach.
Easier to set up. Oh my god, yeah. You just boop. All right, here's your pads.
Yeah, it's solid.
Yeah.
So what's you going to score it?
Oh, I get to go first?
Yeah, we'll have you go
Why
first.
not?
As we played it, I will give it an 8.
8?
If we play the fuck you version, I will give it a -5.
I would give it a 7. It goes down to a 7.
-5. No, seriously, I
that's not really...
I wouldn't be able to bring, and it's just a personal thing. The game would probably play great anyways. I would not enjoy playing it, so that's just me being bitchy.
Components are great. Great quality on the components. The dice with every one of their games is always
they're always really good, yeah.
So, except for the yellow color.
Will you
according to
stop?
Seth.
Well,
Yellow
they're
is
not
the
in
best
this. They're not in this. So every die, I think, has a 3 pip on it. And it's kind of a crapshoot because some of these are just basic ones with 3 pips. But that's also in, like, seasons, like the dice you draft to do your actions, how fast the seasons go around or what's left over, which I always like because that gives everyone a player choice. There were times I'd take a die just to be like, okay, well, I know I'm good on security, so they're going to take that threat hit and I'll be fine.
And let's bring up Dinosaur Island again. I think that the threat on the leftover dice is more important in Dinosaur Island than it is here. Because like
True.
you said, you can get security.
Yeah.
In Dinosaur Island, you might not have the ability because it costs so much money. Here, you're not paying for security.
Yeah.
So I think definitely threat pips are more dangerous in that
true.
game.
Yeah.
So,
I also like your excitement level stays. Like, it's like, people aren't going to walk in and go to a dinosaur park and then all of a sudden be like, anyway, we're not excited anymore. Like Dinosaur World because you reset. But it's all,
right.
It's just your income.
What is it? Same people every time going through the park? I mean, like,
Yeah, right.
There's literal dinosaurs here, folks. If you're not excited, get the fuck out.
Right.
There are only certain people can afford to get there.
Right. So, I don't like that about Dinosaur World where your excitement.
Yeah, it is only for money. Like, so it's not that big of a deal. Here it's for security and all that.
But in the other version, I didn't feel like the security versus the threat really did anything either way. To me, it felt like it was completely disjointed and didn't matter in Dinosaur World. Where here, to me,
Oh, yeah, because the threat in Dinosaur World is just how many tokens you have, and then if you have none.
I didn't feel like there was any huge penalty.
I mean, it brought me down in that game by like 5 points, which definitely closed the gap. But still, it was 5 points. It was like,
but
okay.
I mean, when you think about that versus like I have to destroy like 6
paddock or
roads and a
yeah.
paddock, and
you can only do each of those disasters
I have to
twice.
murder a specialist. I mean,
they get
I feel
closer.
like here it at least holds weight again versus that was one of the things it wasn't really doing in Dinosaur World. Was holding that weight.
Right. Steve, what are you gonna give it?
I'm gonna give it an 8 as well.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it's to me, I enjoyed it. I think I would enjoy it again and again and again because you're gonna get different cards every time.
True.
And
he'll play the block it game.
The block. Oh, that variant.
I mean, I'll give anything a try.
Yeah.
So. Not a fan of rolling right, so I'm waiting to see what happens here.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna give it a 9.5.
Wow. You definitely missed out on it.
I really did.
I mean, you know, we can play it anytime.
That's
so.
also true. I'm also gonna kill you guys and take it. So, oh, I need to edit that part out. Shit! This is live. No, yeah, it's exactly that. I mean, I gave Dinosaur World a 9, Dinosaur Island's a 10, and this splits the gap. Like, it takes the best of both worlds. I can't quite give it a 10 because there are still little issues I have with it, but I mean, they're so minor.
Actually, I can't remember. What did I give World? Because I enjoyed this more than World.
I gave it a 9.
Did I give it an 8?
Or maybe I think you gave it an 8.
I think I gave it a 9. I think I liked it better.
You like Dinosaur World better?
I think we were playing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, my 8 is probably weighted because I know there's other ways to play this.
Right. I mean, don't get me wrong. Yeah, we were kind of comparing this to World and Island. Obviously, we all like Island better.
Yeah, I mean, well, you have to compare it. It's the same publisher.
Exactly.
It's the
same concept.
So.
Yeah. And World, there is still more going on. It's more of a game. I don't think I'd get bored with World. Like if you'd be like, hey, let's play World again, I'd be like, oh, all right, because it plays roughly around the same amount of time. Like this is like,
you can add one of the different expansions in next time.
Yeah.
And change out the tiles other than the 4 standard tiles. So
yeah, and well, you draft in
Right.
World, just not for like there is a suggested setup. So I mean, they're killing it, but yeah, this is kind of the best of both worlds, and it being a roll and write that I was like, all right, yeah, let's give it a shot. It has a stupid ass name, so. And God, yeah, it's super solid.
The only other kickback is when you have to start ordering more.
Yeah,
Who's
I
ever had to
literally
do that?
have never had to do that.
Who's ever had to do that?
Like, unless
I'm sure there's someone.
probably that, like it's their only game.
Right.
But yeah, are you gonna go higher than an 8, or are you gonna keep it at an 8?
I think I'll go 8.5 because
8.5?
I think I was 8 on World.
I think so. All right, so that's our thoughts on Dinosaur Island. Or
This is Dinosaur Island!
Rawr, that stupid roaring right. Let us know what you think of the game in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thank you for watching, and I really hope that you enjoyed the video. If you would like to see more of my content, go ahead and click that subscribe button and the bell to be notified whenever I upload any new content. If you feel like supporting the channel, you can go ahead and click that Patreon link to be taken to my Patreon, and any help is truly appreciated. Other than that, stick around for any other run-throughs or reviews or cool top 10s or whatever I feel like putting on. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.